Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TEQ Connect series. This is our 5th in the series, and today myself, Lizzie Wade, Media and Partnerships Leader at TEQ, and my good friends Mims and Rach from IMATE. We're going to be joining to give you a bit of an overview of the 2026 media landscape. We'll be taking you through 3 key trends that are shaping it right now and coming through with some hot tips and practical actions that you can take immediately after this to take advantage of that. So before we get into the content today, recognising that we're joining from all parts of Queensland and across the country today, TEQ would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country. We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters, culture and community. We pay our respect to elders past and present, and we value and respect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures in all that we do. So we'll cover off some housekeeping first. So as you'll notice, to minimise distractions and interruptions, all cameras and microphones have been disabled, but rest easy, we'll be monitoring the chat. And those of you who provided us with some questions ahead of time, we'll be jumping in at the end to answer those as well. So yeah, as you're going through the session, if there's anything that's popping up that you'd like us to pick up in the Q&A at the end, by all means, pop them in. If you're having any tech difficulties as well, we'll be able to answer that with our moderators in the chat. And anything that we don't have time to cover in the session today, we'll also publish a full list of questions and answers. So everyone who's attending today or following up on the recording can tune into those after. Fabulous. So for those who are not familiar with IMATE or want a little bit of a refresher, just wanted to reintroduce the incredible IMATE team to you today. So IMATE is our industry media agency for tourism and events. And IMATE was created by TEQ and it's delivered in partnership with Dentsu Queensland. And the core goal that really sits underneath IMATE is to create a more connected tourism ecosystem. We know that marketing individually and operating in isolation, it can achieve some results, but when we come together with collaboration, provide greater visibility over all of our activity and market and come together and partner in a collaborative way, that's where we achieve the best results. So IMATE in essence sort of covers 4 key pillars. So we have insights. Our incredible IMATE team can provide you with insights into TEQ's audiences, consumer insights, and a broader view of the market and the media landscape, as I'll be demonstrating today. There's visibility as well. Throughout the year, as you know, TEQ are in market across a raft of different pieces of activity, but IMATE is really a connector point that can provide visibility over all of the work that's in the pipeline and in market from TEQ, as well as RTO partners and broader industry clients. There's the opportunity to align as well. Through IMATE, you're able to access TEQ campaigns, RTO opportunities and broader industry campaigns as well, and collaborate behind opportunities that meet your business objectives as well. And Dentsu are an incredible tier 1 agency, so irrespective of your budget, your task at hand and the brief that you have, you're able to access the incredible team at Dentsu Queensland for media planning, marketing, media expertise, and also buy into TEQ's owned assets. So you can have exclusive placements on Queensland.com, featured deals, and you can be featured in our EDM activity as well. It's a very quick snapshot, and now I'm going to pass you over to the incredible Amelia and Rachel, who are going to take you through the landscape and take you through the trends that are shaping that today. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sliz. What an introduction. Super thrilled to be here and thank you so much for joining the call today. I'm Amelia Ball, the Integrated Client Lead across the TEQ and IMATE team, and this is the wonderful Rachel Knight, Client Partner across our industry arm. We are an 18-person strong specialist tourism and events team based here in Queensland at 549 Queen Street in Brisbane. And we are so proud of the work that we do with many of you on the call every single day. Thrilled to be able to be here today and share some of the trends and shifts that we're seeing and some of the things you can act on right now. So what we're going to run through is zero-click search and discovery. The second will be around inspiration beyond social and a really exciting finisher across creative as the new targeting. I'm going to hand over to Rach to kick us off with the first one.
So 2 months ago, Mims and I had the absolute pleasure of attending Mumbrella 360 in Sydney, which saw some brilliant minds come together to talk about some of the emerging trends. Someone who we heard from, Peter Chung from VaynerX, he talked about relevance in the AI era, and he described it as discoverability moving from search and click to ask and receive. And what he was talking about was staggeringly, by year end, we will see 80% of searches happening without a click to site. I'm going to pause on that for a moment. 80% of searches happening without a click to site. Now, that doesn't mean that search is disappearing, and I want to make that abundantly clear. Search remains critical to travel planning and discovery, but what is changing is consumer behaviour. So for tourism operators, success is no longer just about ranking in search. It is about giving AI the confidence to find you, trust you, and also recommend you.
Rich, I'm seeing even like on my recent trip down the GC, I feel like search behavior is also changing to feel more like a prompt. When I was down there, instead of sort of, usually I'd be like coffee nearby at the place I was staying, whereas now I'm kind of prompting it even further. I kind of wanted a cold foam, almond milk, long black. And so you can really start to see how search is changing than what it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely, Mims. And to that point, travel journey is no longer linear. Consumers are moving in loops. They're using AI to ask questions rather than search. They are relying on algorithms and creators to curate those options, and they're looking for reviews and recommendations to validate that decisioning. So from my own personal experience, just a few weeks ago, I took my family on a 2-week trip. We had our flights booked, we had our accommodation booked, we had all of our activities organised, and yet I still found myself going back into social platforms to validate my decisioning. Did I book the right hotel? Am I doing the right experiences? What am I missing out on? I really needed that validation as part of that journey and decisioning. And to that point, discovery is happening so much earlier across many more touch points and often before a brand's website is ever visited. So some of those more obvious ones, think like your Google AIs, your social search, your ChatGPT, those emerging areas, but just as important are our short form videos, our creators and our reviews, which are playing a huge role in that discovery as well. And while social platforms play a key role in the changing landscape, it's also really important to remember that people turn to very different platforms for different reasons. So take Meta, for example. On Facebook, travellers might join a community group, say Hamilton Island visitors, to plan trips, get those recommendations. And while on Instagram, for example, they're drawn to inspiring imagery that sparks that discovery of new destinations and experiences. So think at Queensland. TikTok plays a very different role again, known for its very informative short form video, the hacks, hidden gems, with travellers often searching for those real on-ground tips before they travel. So think day trips like waterfalls or whale watching. So rather than thinking about these platforms as one channel, it's worth understanding that these platforms support different behaviours. And so it's important there to build a content strategy that takes that into consideration.
Sure.
And more importantly than ever, how you're found, reference, and experience is huge. So firstly, SEO best practice is table stakes. That means that having a complete current Google business profile, consistent details across your website, your social, and your ATDW listings, which will help to continue building brand authority. Secondly, it's very important to continue investing in answer-ready content. So that means creating structured, useful content, whether that's itineraries, comparisons, or frequently asked questions that sit beyond that social-only usage. Thirdly, track beyond those campaign metrics. So in this changing landscape, measurement needs to evolve to include discoverability in AI tools. No longer is it just, will travellers find your brand? It's now about, will the algorithm recommend you? And here is where our team can help. So we have an AI-ready audit, and please reach out to us. We are happy to support you in this space. And excitingly, the future's here. Just recently, TikTok Go was launched, and that's providing that in-app discovery and bookings directly in-app, which is really exciting, along with Google Flights, which is aggregating and comparing airfares. We're seeing so much of this, and we're staying close to it. So again, please talk to our team. We are happy to take you on this journey with us.
It's a really exciting time. I feel like we're all kind of learning and living it at the same time, and on the precipice of some, really exciting developments in this space. So now we'll move to inspiration beyond social. So travel inspiration, as we know, is cultural. It's not just social. We've got here the White Lotus effect was the perfect example of this, with what was dubbed White Lotus effect driving searches and bookings across all locations. We're talking Sicily, Hawaii, Thailand. I was a massive fan as well, as travelers actually took a step into the show itself. Then we saw the K phenomenon with the likes of K-pop demon hunters, K-dramas streaming platforms, and the K-beauty stores opening up in key Westfields, even around me, to be honest. And Reuters recently reported that foreign medical visitors doubled year on year, driven by the global fascination with Korean beauty standards, affordability, and innovation. So it just goes to show how cultural this movement can be, and then also into driving visitation. And then one a little closer to home, our very own homegrown hero in that of Bluey. What Bluey has done for our amazing state, but also here locally in Brisbane with the activation itself. So while culture is a key driver, we also know that it is authenticity that is critical to its success. And we saw this through our activation of Carrie and Tommy's Wheelie Good Adventure. We had 2 versions of this, which was absolutely phenomenal. And we drove the Pacific Highway up from the Gold Coast all the way through to Cairns, and were able to hand over the mics to 2 of Australians' most loved talent in a live format. So what this meant was they got to experience the regions for themselves, and they got to tell their own story. So that authenticity really came through, and is what really made a point of difference, essentially.
I guess you can call it a phenomenon. It was.
Exactly. So here, what we'd like you to consider are things like partnerships. So this is thinking about audiences that share passions and not just category alignment. Talent and creators, as we saw with Carrie and Tommy, more than ever, it's important to see talent and people media in their own way. So that is about briefing them, but also allowing them to add their own flair to ensure that they're talking to their audiences in an authentic way. We've got IRL and events. Rach was actually running the Jetty to Jetty over the weekend.
Very sore today.
Which is super topical with AI, because this is the experience you can't fake, you can't replicate. This is where sensory comes to play. So how are we looking at IRL and events and making sure we're festivalizing those moments and making them bigger? And then finally, and I guess also most importantly, is that TEQ and RTO alignment. How do we better round this out than by showing up as Team Queensland? That's exactly what we're about as one connected tourism ecosystem, and leveraging things that are in market right now, like that holiday feeling starts here. All right, now into the third and final one, which is creative as the new targeting. Rach, you want to take this one away?
Yeah.
It's a bit of an exercise. It's a bit of a fun one for you.
Well, we'll just start by saying we are in the non-follower era, which means that 90% of views are coming from audiences that don't follow you. And that is just a huge number. What we want to do is do a bit of an exercise here to show you just how much of an impact the algorithm is having on who sees your content. So if you're willing and able, and please, no judgment, also, I can't actually see what comes up on your phone, so please know it's a safe space. If you are happy and willing to open up your Instagram app, I will show you what your own bespoke algorithm is showing you. So click on the Instagram icon. What I'll then ask you to do is then click on the magnifying glass, which should be, unless we've all had updates to our Instagram app, down the bottom right-hand corner of your app. Once you've clicked on that, you'll see at the top right-hand corner a toggle with some love hearts on it. So we're going to the magnifying glass at the bottom right, and then we're going to the top right-hand corner of the app with the love hearts on the toggle. Once you click on that, Instagram will tell you what your algorithm is serving you. So in my case, lately, I've been into endurance sports. So Mims is one I did do Jetty on the weekend, glowing complexions and trying new restaurants. Mims, what's yours say about
Mine says lately you've been into high-speed racing, red carpet style, and Justin Bieber's wife. So take that for what it is.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
It is.
Obviously just showcasing that I'm not kind of following any high-speed racing, but I would say I do love my F1.
I think to that point, what it's showing us is that platforms are increasingly acting as a discovery engine. So that's serving content based on interests and behaviours. And that's why this statistic around the non-follower era is so important.
And you can see that right now. I'm sorry for those that did go for England, RIP. But as algorithms get better at predicting what people want to see, the risk is that everything starts to look and sound the same. So the brands that stand out won't be the ones with the smartest targeting. They'll be the ones that feel genuine, entertaining, and deliver that emotional resonance. So a bold idea can still generate conversation and earn attention. And the more you feed, the feed starts to feel the same, it's going to be those brands that will benefit from standing out. So as you can see here, Air Transat really taking me from watching England to seeing England and making me feel something when I see that ad. And here is just a creative guide, an example to get you all started. So with social media now the #1 source of travel inspiration, it's that creative diversity that means using authentic content that answers those real questions, builds trust and inspires action. And it is about having that variety. So you can see here from statics through to reels, through to user-generated content. We have to leverage what's at our disposal and do so within the feeds to stand out. Okay, and here we'll just pause for a brief moment and just give you a reminder to add any questions into the Q&A section over to the side of your screen, and we'll come back to them shortly. Okay, so to round us out, what can you do now? So our #1 tip is be present. It's about creating demand by aligning to TEQ and your RTO's campaign moments, content and audiences to fuel that discovery. We can absolutely help. Our team is created up of pods, all of those that are ensuring that we have the culture, the nuances of the RTOs and regions, and looking after all of the operators within those. And we can make sure to provide you with updates across campaign alignment opportunities throughout the entire year. Also, very important to be recommendable. So SEO, social SEO, GEO, and AI-powered discovery are increasingly shaping how travelers research and choose their experiences. We have a specialist SEO team in-house, so they're more than happy to help with those audits that Rach referred to. And then finally, build credibility. Your website, social channels, and other touch points, such as the one we love most, also ATDW, should tell the same story. This is about consistency and ensuring you're actively reviewing and maintaining the content. We can also assist and help with that one-on-one consultation through ATDW if you need that help across that and any best practice, to be honest, across site and social. So that's it from us. I'm going to hand back to Lizzie.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. And as we're going through the Q&A now, we've also got a QR code on the screen as well. So if there's anything that you want to know more about from Rach Mims, or you want to get in contact with IMATE as well, scan the little fish QR, which I love the design of. Yeah, give it a scan and you'll be able to reach out to them with any other questions that you have. So to kick things off with the Q&A, first one off the bat, if I wanted to work with IMATE, talk me through how I can get started with you guys.
Oh, well, I feel like you gave a really good shout out there through the QR code, but I think what's really important for us is that we do and we will host calls with those that reach out to us to understand more about your business, your event, your experience, and what you're looking to do. So it really is around unpacking that. So please do reach out to us on email and we'll tee up that one-on-one consultation so that we can discover a bit more about you and take it from there, because that way our team can also decipher what type of help you actually need.
Awesome, thank you. We've just got two pre-submitted as well. So this one is around arts and cultural tourism sector. So the question reads, from everything we've spoken about today, awesome just to hear from you guys. Are there any nuances, whether you're in arts and culture, you're a tourism operator, a region? How do you approach arts and culture specifically?
There are many nuances. I would say the way in which we approach arts and culture would be very different to a tourism operator and or region. And depending on this particular question, whether you're an event or driving tickets to an event, just because each of those segments have different priorities. So, for example, we work with the likes of Queensland Museum or with GOMA here in Brisbane. So very much centred around what are their particular objectives and how do we reach those right audiences.
Yeah, and to that point also, we have access to proprietary tools that help us understand what the consumer behaviours are. It's a globally fused panel which gives us incredible insights into what consumers are thinking, feeling, doing, which we can overlay in our planning as well to give us a really good understanding of how to speak to these audiences around these events and cultural moments.
Yeah, but we do work with a lot of different sort of arts and culture events and operators, which is really exciting.
Nice. This next one. So how do you recommend promoting to overseas travellers visiting Queensland?
Again, a really good question, but also quite broad. We'd need to almost unpack that a little bit in terms of what you're doing. My recommendation would be to show up, and just something recent that we've done with an operator is leveraging some of the New Zealand efforts that TEQ are doing, and also some of the RTOs to leverage that spend and look at retargeting those audiences. But otherwise, there's a myriad of channels that we would access and leverage, from like social all the way through to Redbook. We've done so many different things. We've done billboards in Kenya, and we utilize the Dentsu global footprint to do so. So I think that's really important to note. And back on Sliz's comment around a tier 1 agency, we have offices all over the world. And so we kind of tap into that expertise on ground, which is a wonderful USP to have up our sleeve.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we did some work with the team in New Zealand to understand some of our Kiwi friends, to understand what their audience attitudes and behaviours were, and then we could deploy that with our marketing efforts here. So that's where we've got a really tight, close-knit relationship with our Dentsu friends over in New Zealand, and they can help us with those insights. We can do the same over in many places globally as well. So we're able to get those cultural nuances as well in terms of how we want to target audiences in that international space.
And what spend would be necessary as well. So we're very real to be able to feedback on that as well. These are very different markets to Australia. So ensuring that what we're doing is actually going to turn the dial for operators and regions.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. So you covered a lot in the content today. This questions come through smaller operator, limited resources. If you guys could just reflect on what's the single most important thing this operator can do to make sure they're showing up in AI search?
Well, for this one, we would definitely say reconcile the state of play. So do you feel like you have a comfortable grip in terms of what's happening in the AI space? That doesn't have to be in advance. It could be from preliminary or early stages to intermediate or advanced. The second, we would say, as part of reconciling the state of play is, are your consumer touch points aligned? So your website, your socials, your ATDW listing, do you feel like you're in a good place in terms of what your consumers are seeing and experiencing with your brand or your business? And the last one is, are you aware of the resources available to you? So if you're on this webinar, you absolutely do, but also the resources that we can also support with across from an IMATE perspective. So being able to reach out to us, our specialist SEO services, and our digital expertise as well in terms of AI. So yeah, broadly under that reconciling the state of play, there's kind of 3 key areas within that in itself.
Yeah, I think lean in and be interested is the first one, especially as we're going through so much change. But our team can run an audit to see where you are showing up, and then provide sort of a steer on what would help.
Beautiful. And last one I've got for you guys. Another operator who's come through. So they're saying we're only active on Facebook at the moment. You know, you talked a lot about TikTok, Instagram, Reddit. There's a whole raft of channels. Is there any pressure or any concern by only being active on one? Should we be active across all? What's your view?
I think I'll jump in on this one. I think in terms of planning, we definitely look at where the opportunities are around audiences, so understanding what your objectives are and what your audience targeting is, that we can then see, okay, what is the highest propensity for these audiences across different channels? And then I think to that point then, doing everything.
Yeah, it's like jack of all trades, master of none is often not a good thing. And there is a lot. I mean, just looking at the screen that you presented, Rach, there's a lot of channels for us now to be across. So it's ensuring that we're doing it well and providing that variety. So if it's just on Facebook, taking that creative best practice and ensuring that that's aligned to what you're doing there. And then naturally, you know, I think we would want to understand more about your audience and your objectives, and then be able to steer you across the right channels. But I do think that even if you're doing less, do it right, and make sure that that's sort of resonating with the audiences you're after.
And we work with varying budgets and investment levels as well. So we can help navigate in terms of if you've got an investment level, what the best use of that is across your suite of channels and environments as well.
Awesome, thank you. We've just had one question come through about the recording of this session. So yes, this is being recorded and will be distributed following the session. So you'll be able to watch it again if you're really eager, or anyone in your teams that's missed out, they'll be able to tune in and catch up on everything we've talked about today. Awesome. Annalise has just dropped in a link to that as well. So bookmark that, get onto it. So that's really all we have time for today, but just want to thank everyone again for giving us your time. Thank you for all the amazing questions as well. And if there's any burning questions you have still that are sitting after this, or you want to reach out to IMATE or TEQ directly, by all means, please do so. And if you're loving the TEQ Connect webinar series, we've also got a fabulous session coming up on Monday, the 10th of August. The incredible Jacinta Bonus, JB, she'll be at the helm of this one, so it's definitely not one to be missed. You can scan the QR code on screen now to register and sign up. But yeah, thank you so much to Mims and Rach.
Thanks so much, everyone.
You guys have been awesome. And yeah, thank you everyone for dialing in today. It's been a pleasure.